Hi, I am a tutor who would like to help all students, those who are our Ivy bound clients of now, those who might be clients later, and even if you're not going to be a client, hopefully this gets you some extra points on the SAT. It's the poetry. And I think you should expect two poetry questions, maybe three, in the course of the two modules that you have. I want you to nail them. And I'm coming at this the following way. My name's Mark Greenstein. I've taught SAT for a long time for Ivy Bound. I don't, aside from Ivy Bound, like poetry. I don't, especially if it doesn't rhyme. Then I don't even consider it a poem. But I'd rather have full-on literature that has complete meanings, whereas poetry has nuances and innuendos and some things left out. Here's why I like it on the SAT, and here's what might help you to like it and with it get points. Because I think it's the ultimate in being a sleuth, in figuring out what the author is meaning. And for this reason, it should be relatively easy, or at least no harder, because figuring out what the author is trying to convey is what we ask you to do on every other SAT and ACT verbal question. So this is sort of the ultimate. And even if you don't like humanities, don't like poetry, if you could be a detective, I'm detecting what's going on, I think that might at least keep you awake, and maybe animated to do good stuff. I'm going to share two poetry questions. Maybe we'll do two and a half. And hopefully this is now on screen for everyone to see. The strategies are at the top. I'm not going to go into them. I want to go right into question 111 with an attack that's girded by our precision in what they're asking and precision in matching it up with the four answer choices. One of them will match well. The SAT is very good at making four answers. Three of them are inferior for one way or another. And some of you have heard this from us. We like WWW on them. What's wrong with? And three of them have something wrong, and one of them should have good support, or at least in poetry, decent support. Let's see how that plays out with this question 111. It reads, Ghosts of the Old Year is an early 1900s poem by James Johnson. In the poem, the speaker describes experiencing an ongoing cycle of anticipation followed by regretful reflection. Which quotation from Ghosts of the Old Year most effectively illustrates the claim? So this is poem in reverse, where the answer choices are the poem, sure. And you could get that, it's not common, but I want the same kind of strategy as any other sentence completion or meaning from a prompt. That should fit just as well. So what do? We answer the first part of what they want down the line. They want, I've highlighted it in yellow, ongoing cycle of anticipation. Well, let's see if the first part is an ongoing cycle of anticipation in A, B, C, D. They're all 4 lines long, so I'm not sure whether first is just 1 line or 2 or 3. It can't be all 4. But looking at just the first 2 lines of A, do we see anticipation in what the brazen tongue declare that falling on the midnight air? So far, no anticipation. Brings to my heart a sense of care. All right, that's close. Now, that's also the last half. But even sense of care, to me, does not look like anticipation. I do not like the beginning or even this third line as satisfying the first part. So I don't care about the second part. The part in teal about regretful reflection, we'll wait. We might not even need that. Let's use again, cycle of anticipation on B. The snow has ceased its fluttering flight. The wind sunk to a whisper light. An ominous stillness fills the night. I'll give a little opening to say maybe B is okay, because ominous, some people think as anticipating something bad, or maybe anticipating something good. So I don't love that, but I'm keeping it alive on the anticipation cycle. Now, I am worried though about cycle. What's cyclical? Meaning it keeps going, it repeats. Snow ceased, wind sunk, past tense, done. I don't see a cycle here. That's why I don't like B. Again, I'm not even looking at regretful reflection. Let's go to C. It tells of many a squandered day, of slighted gems and treasured clay, of precious stores not laid away. Sounds like they are doing a pottery class. And I'm okay with cycle. Many a squandered day, many could be cyclical, but I don't see anticipation. Well, I'm anticipating the D better be good because I really don't like A, B, or C, but we don't just pick D, we make sure it's good. And so the years go swiftly by. Each coming brings ambitions high. There's anticipation. Do we have cycle? Yes, each coming. Years. This is cyclical. I love it. Now, let's make sure the rest of it fits. Do we have regretful reflection? Yes, we do, because there's departing, leaving a sigh. Oh, D is very good. All right, I'm not going to do 112, and it's not because well, it's somewhat because it doesn't rhyme. By the way, 111 is a little disappointing too. 3 lines rhyme each time, and then they give this blah 4th line every time. It's always 4 words. That's sort of clever, but it doesn't rhyme. Let's go to one that does rhyme and has, I think, maybe a little more intricacy. I'm scrolling to number 113 here. From one of SAT's favorite people, because on the education question bank, we've seen 2 poems by this one American poet, Paul Laurence Dunbar, and another ode about him. I think a eulogy about Paul Laurence Dunbar. So if you're up on this guy, good for you. You might get a question right in your wheelhouse. Now, we never need any questions that we've experienced before, but the detective work is a little bit less when you've experienced it. Here comes our detectiveness, 1913 poem. A song is but a little thing, and yet what a joy it is to sing. In hours of toil it gives me zest, and when at eve I long for rest, when cows come home along the bars, and in the fold I hear the bell, as night the shepherd herds his stars, I sing my song, and all is well. I will admit to not knowing a couple things here. And that's true of most poetry for high school students and even seasoned adults. I don't know what they mean by cows coming home along the bars. That might be some barriers that they're calling bars. I don't get it. I don't get in the fold. I hear the bell. I don't know what the fold is. Okay. We hope, we expect that the right answer is not turning on either of those things. Let's see what we can do with it. It's a main purpose question. Which choice best states the main purpose? A, to convey how engaging in song makes the speaker feel. And this seems pretty good. Is he, let's be rigorous, engaged in song? Absolutely. It's there in the first line, it's there in the last line. And how it makes the speaker feel makes it pretty good. Line 2, it's a joy to sing. End line, all is well with his song. Gotta like A, but we check with rigor B, C, D. B, problem, to compare the speaker to a singing shepherd. Well, there is a shepherd in there. The comparison is the problem. What does the shepherd do? Shepherd herds his stars. What does the speaker do? Speaker's walking home from work singing. I don't see a comparison. this speaker has invoked a shepherd or some image of a shepherd, but it's not a comparing of anything like to like. Don't like B. C, to portray the speaker's excitement about farming. No. And I'm going to prompt you to tell me why it's really no. Anyone see why this is the opposite? That the speaker does not have excitement for farming. Where's that come from? It is there. Thanks for pointing it out. He says it is toil. That's his work. Not that exciting, is it? All right. D, to describe the pieces of music the speaker enjoys hearing. Well, let me ask myself, what pieces of music? Do you see anything Chopin? Do you see anything of Bon Jovi? There's nothing in here specific or general pieces of music describing what the speaker enjoys. We don't know. Can't be right, feel good about A. I actually made a final question. This is not the SAT, but since we're on it anyway, what might the shepherd, and that's question 113B. Another question maybe they could ask about this mysterious as night the shepherd herds his stars. Question says, what's most likely? The most likely being that Dunbar characterizes as the shepherd. E, F, G, H, and they are named accordingly. Engineer, farmer, god, heiress. Anyone have a take on this? You like God. Why do you like God? Absolutely. The only entity that could possibly move stars, shepherd them, move them into some sort of arrangement, herd them, would be the omnipotent. Okay, we can't do that. Now, the others are so far away that lest you think, God, is that really a being? You can't pick engineer. Okay, there's nothing really coming out of an engineering background for this shepherding of herds. A farmer, good, from the rural Midwest, but do farmers farm stars? Do they milk stars? Do they do they take care of stars? Do they herd stars? No. So it's still pretty far away. And finally, an heiress, which is not a bad vocabulary word, and I'm always, always, always asking students to look up words that appear in answer choices if you don't know it. If you don't know this one, let me write it out for you, or you can write it out for yourself. H-E-I-R-E-S-S means somebody who has inherited a lot of money. Female inheritor. Heiress, H-E-I-R, is the person who inherits money. Heiress is the female version. And if she's donating to agricultural, okay, we got a little bit of agriculture here, but she's not herding stars. And she's a she. And though the SAT does not want to get into these modern days differences that are named pronouns or not named properly, the heiress is clearly a she, and you have in the poem itself herds his stars. Boom. That's an eliminator as well. I hope this has been helpful. Thank you for hearing me here, and I'll look forward to seeing some of you in our classes.